Sueharu, a first-year high schooler, tells his friend Tetsuhiko his plans to confess to Shirokusa, their classmate and a famous author, during a special confession festival that happens during the school's cultural festival. Tetsuhiko says that she is out of his league as he has a lot of experience dating, even if the girls at their school have a low opinion of him. Later, Sueharu sees Shirokusa crying in the library, but he does not approach her. He helps Tetsuhiko, who asks him why he doesn't date his childhood friend Kuro. Kuro appears, but Sueharu tries to avoid her since he rejected her love confession. In class, they hear news that Shirokusa has a new boyfriend named Abe, and Sueharu runs away. Kuro catches up to Sueharu and comforts him. She convinces Sueharu to get revenge on Shirokusa and Abe. The next day, they plan to fake dating each other to make Shirokusa jealous, a plan that Sueharu is reluctant to try. Kuro tries to kiss him, but since he is in love with Shirokusa, he runs away. Sueharu attempts to investigate Abe for any weaknesses, but Abe confronts him after school. Abe reveals that he knows Sueharu was previously a famous child actor. Abe announces he is only dating Shirokusa to prove he is superior to Sueharu and that he does not care for her. Since Abe is also an actor, Sueharu tells Tetsuhiko he will join the cultural festival to beat Abe in acting skill. Kuro reveals their relationship, and both Shirokusa and Kuro's fan club become angry. Sueharu approaches Shirokusa to help with the play and she accepts. That night, Kuro visits Sueharu and Sueharu shows her a photo of his childhood friend Shiro. Kuro becomes jealous when Shirokusa calls and they provoke each other and try to kiss, but they can't do it. Sueharu collapses during rehearsal for the play. At the nurse, Shirokusa is waiting for him and asks why he stopped acting when he was a child. Sueharu reveals that his mother inspired him to act, but when she died while acting, this traumatized him and he quit acting. Shirokusa gives him the script she wrote for the play and leaves. Shirokusa is actually Shiro, Sueharu's childhood friend. When they were young, their fathers introduced them to each other and the two kids promised to do a play together. But one day Sueharu stopped visiting. Shirokusa became angry that he broke their promise and she swore revenge on Sueharu. But after finding out why he quit acting, she starts to have doubts. That night, Sueharu and Kuro plan their revenge together, and the two slowly grow closer together. Sueharu prepares for his revenge at the confession festival, where he confronts Abe. He is suddenly confronted by a mysterious person. This mysterious person reveals themselves to be Shiro. Sueharu remembers his promise to Shiro and apologizes for leaving his friend those years ago. Shiro reveals herself to be Shirokusa in front of Sueharu, and the two old friends reunite. Shiro and Kuro meet later, and Kuro is determined not to lose. During the festival, Kuro and Sueharu go on a date together. However, at the end of the date, Kuro slaps him and ends their fake relationship. Sueharu is determined to continue with the plan, and during Abe's confession, Sueharu interrupts and takes the stage. On the stage, Sueharu reveals that he doesn't love Shiro anymore and he wants to date Kuro instead, but Kuro rejects him. When the festival ends, Abe meets Tetsuhiko and reveals that he was part of a plan for Shiro to make Sueharu fall in love with her so that she can reject him. Though he was part of the plan, Abe is actually a big fan of Sueharu's acting and played the part of the villain so that he could see Sueharu act again. Abe thinks that everyone has lost in the end. Abe is correct, as Sueharu, Kuro, and Shiro all suffer from the confession festival and all of them become depressed. Tetsuhiko has uploaded Sueharu's rejection and the video goes viral. In class, a new girl named Momo arrives and hugs Sueharu. Sueharu reveals that he and Momo are childhood friends and that he used to be her senpai at the acting agency. Momo confesses to Sueharu and tells him to forget both the other girls. Tetsuhiko apologizes to Sueharu and introduces him to Rina, a friend of Tetsuhiko. Shiro tries to ask Sueharu on a date using her friend Mako but backs out and argues with Tetsuhiko. Kuro shows up but Sueharu becomes uncomfortable and she has to leave. Sueharu calls Tetsuhiko and tells him that he doesn't know Kuro anymore and does not want to be around her. Tetsuhiko tells this to Kuro. Sueharu goes home to see Momo, who is visiting. Momo reveals that she was asked by their agency's new president to invite him and Kuro to a reunion. Kuro's younger sisters arrive and Momo hides. The sisters tell Sueharu that Kuro might have amnesia. Sueharu and the sisters talk about Kuro, and Momo introduces herself. After Momo leaves, the sisters tease Sueharu. The next day, Sueharu meets Kuro, and though Sueharu is nervous, they restart their relationship as friends. Shiro sees Kuro, and she doesn't believe that Kuro has amnesia. Sueharu decides to test the amnesia. Kuro can't eat octopus whiners, so he feeds them to her to test her, but after some time she eats it and hugs Sueharu. Sueharu decides to act again for the agency Hardy Pro and invites Kuro. Tetsuhiko suggests instead of going to the agency, they all create a WeTube channel together. Sueharu suggests going to Hardy Pro first and then deciding. At the agency reunion, Sueharu meets Momo and they remember their time acting together. They meet Shun, the new CEO of Hardy Pro, who asks Sueharu and Kuro to join the agency. Sueharu is tempted because the deal is a lot of money. Kuro refuses and Shun mocks her. Angry, Sueharu drops wine on the CEO's head. Shun mocks everyone and is almost attacked by Tetsuhiko. Shiro's father Sueharu arrives to mediate the fight, and Momo suggests a solution where the agency and their WeTube channel, Ultramarine Alliance, compete in a contest to make the best commercial. Even though they are friends, Momo will work for Hardy Pro. If Hardy Pro wins, Sueharu will have to join Hardy Pro. If Hardy Pro loses, then Shun will not press charges over the assault and will not interfere with Sueharu anymore. The Ultramarine Alliance works on their channel, which is about drinks. Momo remembers how when she and her sister Eri ran away from home, Sueharu mentored her at the agency, but then disappeared when he stopped acting. Momo and Eri watch the first commercial, but it is not good. But the second commercial is much better due to Sueharu. The channel wins the contest, and Sueharu will support the channel. He also knows that Tetsuhiko is actually Shun's son. Abe reveals that the fight and contest was actually a plan by Kuro to sabotage Sueharu's acting career and to get closer to him. Momo decides to transfer to their school to be closer to Sueharu. After school, Sueharu and Kuro walk home together, but Sueharu realizes that she is faking her amnesia. Angry that Kuro was faking her amnesia, Sueharu declares war on her. But at home he regrets what he said. Shiro and Tetsuhiko make an alliance with each other. Momo joins the Ultramarine Alliance and they start a new project. Kuro and Momo are suspicious of Shiro, and Kuro says this to Sueharu, but he doesn't trust her and they argue. At Sueharu's house, one of Kuro's sisters arrives and speaks to Sueharu. She empathizes with him but advises him not to go into any relationship without repairing his friendship with Kuro first. Shiro thanks Tetsuhiko for his help, but he thinks that it would be better if Sueharu was not in any relationship. At the beach, Eri confronts Shiro, and then a jealous Momo arrives to challenge Shiro to a cooking contest. They decide to cook local hot pots, which puts Shiro at a disadvantage. Momo makes friends with Rinat, and they spy on a conversation between Sueharu and Tetsuhiko. They arrive at the beach house, and when Sueharu suggests they all shower together, Tetsuhiko punishes him by throwing him into the pool. Kuro is jealous thinking about Sueharu and Momo getting close on the trip. Everyone relaxes on the beach, but Shiro calls Sueharu to tell him she wants to show him her bikini in private. They become close, but Sueharu gets a call from Momo who tells him that she is watching him with the others. She confronts him but accidentally reveals that she has chest padding. Later, Shiro practices dancing and Sueharu practices with her, showing off his skills. On the beach, Shiro practiced making Sueharu's favorite food and they almost kissed until Sueharu remembered Ai's advice to not get into any relationships. The next day, Kuro and her sisters arrive and Kuro is angry at Sueharu for having fun. While they all work, Kuro notices that Sueharu and Shiro have gotten closer together. Kuro tries to distract Sueharu with her bikini, but it doesn't work. She tries to bully Sueharu by confessing to him over and over, which annoys Sueharu. Later, Kuro sincerely confesses to him. At dinner, Sueharu is worried about Shiro's feet and Midori bandages her. That night, he spies on Shiro, who is talking with her friend Mako. At the same time, Ai finds Ake, another of Kuro's sisters, and they talk about their feelings for Sueharu, since all the sisters have crushes on him. The next day, Shiro stumbles while on the stage, and Sueharu becomes injured when he tries to help her. Tetsuhiko works on the final edit and talks to Abe about the trip. Sueharu drives Sueharu, Kuro, and Shiro back from the trip, and he tells Sueharu that Shiro will be moving in to support him while he was injured from the fall. Kuro is not happy to hear this. Later, Sueharu has a fantasy since Shiro will be moving in with him. He asks Tetsuhiko for advice, but his advice is useless. All the girls want to stay the night with Sueharu to prevent the other girls from making a move, and Kuro tries to confess to him. Sueharu tells them they cannot stay. Shin, Shiro's mate, approaches Sueharu and they become rivals for Shiro. At school, all the male students are jealous of Sueharu due to his close friendship with Momo. Shiro tries to feed Sueharu, but he is uncomfortable because of Shin. He goes to meet Kuro and they start to repair their friendship. Tetsuhiko calls to propose a new project to finish Sueharu's last acting job when he was still a child actor. The girls all meet to settle their conflict, and they decide to take turns taking care of Sueharu. They also each declare war on one another. News breaks that Sueharu is retiring, and after meeting with the channel, Tetsuhiko reveals this is gossip created by Shun. They plan a way to strike back against the agency. The first scene is an interview, and Sueharu and Shiro go to Tokyo Tower and remember their childhood together. They almost kiss but forget they are being filmed. At home, Sueharu tries to make peace with Shin but fails. In the morning, Shiro tries to kiss Sueharu awake, but Momo arrives to start stripping him and Shin interrupts both of them. The next interview is with Momo and she remembers meeting Sueharu's mother. They go to where his mother died and the two start crying since they miss her. At home, Momo tries to kiss him but is interrupted by Shin. Since Tetsuhiko has enough footage, he is determined to strike back against Shun by releasing the new project. Kuro brings Sueharu to a cave where he hid when his mother died. They remember the day Kuro met him there and comforted him. They discuss their troubled friendship and both apologize to each other. Hiro confesses, but Sueharu cannot accept her confession because he still has feelings for the other girl. Hiro instead suggests that she will be his secret childhood girlfriend and act like a real girlfriend until Sueharu is ready. Tetsuhiko talks with Abe and reveals that Shiro has lost her advantage to Kuro, who has used the childhood girlfriend technique to recover from her damaged relationship with Sueharu after the confession festival. Sueharu finishes the Child King true ending, and the group releases the project. The project is so successful that Sueharu has a fan club. The girls all announce plans to crush this new fan club. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.